Good morning, good afternoon and good evening from wherever you may be in the world, and welcome to the first ever track we go back to as the Next Gen Cup. Welcome to the Nürburgring. Who would have thought 2 years ago that this would be the track we would come back to twice? I'm here with Joel. Joel is one of the mechanics, not Frederick as usual. Frederick is very busy today in a lot of meetings. Joel, you'll do just fine. I want to talk first about the mechanics a bit more, now that I have the chance to talk to one. On a weekend like this, how stressful is it being a mechanic?
It really depends on the situation. I mean, if everything goes as it should, we don't really have that much stress. But of course, as you know, things happen on the track, and depending on the weather, cars go off and into each other or into the walls, and then all of a sudden it's really stressful. So it really depends on the situation out on the track. So,
as a mechanic, do you have a favorite driver to be a mechanic of, or are they all?
No, I don't prefer any driver over the other. I'm completely, doesn't matter.
They're all equal for you.
They're all equal for me, yeah.
Well, that's good to hear. I want to touch on the fact that we're back here. This is the first track, like I said earlier on, that we come back to for the first time. And how important do you think that is for the drivers who already have had a season? Because this is a track they now know. What sort of advantages do you think that will give them?
It depends. I mean, I would say, of course, it's an advantage to have been driving the track and have experience of it, but still, some of the drivers have driven it in the simulators as well and have a lot of experience there, so they could have an advantage that the others don't have in that case. So
Kelvin, he has never driven here before. He came into this round being the championship leader. We heard from Kelvin earlier on. Let's hear what he had to say. Hi Kelvin, welcome to the Nürburgring. You come here as championship leader. You must have high expectations this weekend.
Yeah, of course. Like always and everyone does, I want to win, so I'm here to win.
You did top FP1 and FP2. Tell us a bit more in depth on how that went.
FP1 was good. Could send it almost from the first lap on. So there was a lot of improvements. I felt quite good with the track and car because it's really difficult. For session 2 it was way harder. I had a really, I can't say bad, but I'm not satisfied with the session. A lot of mistakes from my side. So yeah, we know where to improve. I could try a lot of things, so I'm satisfied but also not.
In that FP2 session, is these small things that you are not satisfied with, or are they big things where you say, okay, this should have been better?
The biggest improvement, I think, is between the pedals and the seat. So that's me. Because the car was good, setup was good, brake balance, everything, it's just right. The only thing, I was overdriving a little bit, so I wanted to do too much, braking a lot of the times too hard. So yeah, a lot of improvement from my side.
Last season we had Linus do the Grand Slam here. Are you looking to follow him up on that?
I would like to. It would be good. It would be hard because the gaps are really, really tight. Almost nobody is giving things away. Nobody's using push to pass or anything. So yeah, it's going to be tight. Yeah.
All right, Kelvin. Best of luck this weekend.
Thank you.
So a happy Kelvin, but also not quite that happy. He wasn't quite happy with his performance in free practice too. That was because he said there was a lot of it for him to improve. Made a lot of mistakes, even though he was still P1, and I think that shows how great of a sportsman Kelvin really is.
Of course.
When he's first. Oh, we have a question for you, I think.
No? Yeah. What are you talking about?
Kelvin. We are talking about Kelvin at the moment.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yes, we were talking about Kelvin. Yes. I mean, even though he finished first in free practice 1, he wasn't quite happy with his results and with his time. What do you think that was down to?
I have no idea. I mean, obviously be good.
Finishing P1 is the highest you can achieve. He wasn't happy though. I said he made a lot of mistakes. He will look to improve tomorrow, and he was already first. Do you think it's a warning shot to the competition?
Yeah.
Well, there we go. There we go. Well, a lot of mechanics say this is a bit of a familiar place for you. Not that the pit lane isn't, but you're mostly here on a racing weekend. It's all fun, especially now that there's not so much pressure. There's music in the background. What do you enjoy most from your job as a mechanic?
The company of the guys in the boxes, and the feeling of success when everything works, of course. That's the most important.
A feeling of success was also there for Patricia. She finished 4th today, a really good result for her. Also someone who did better than some might have expected was Misha. Even though he's racing against young drivers, he does have a lot of experience, but was completely new in these cars. Yeah, let's listen to Misha and let's hear what he had to say. Hi Misha, welcome to the Next Gen Cup. First time for you driving one of these cars, tell us your experience.
I must say I'm pleasantly surprised. You might think it has only 180 horsepower or 210 with push to pass, but that's actually already enough to have a lot of fun. The cars weigh only 1,200 kilos and the track is not that big either. The competitive field is fantastic. Everyone is very talented as a driver. I expected already that I would be having my butt kicked because I know multiple people have actually here already one full season behind them in experience. But to be fair, it's absolutely amazing. The cars are great to drive, they're very predictable, they have enough power. You can do naughty stuff with it, you can do some lift off oversteer or trail brake to make it brake out. And it's actually like a real race car. And here you need to be more fine-tuned, I would say, one with the car to be able to extract the most potential out of the car. So overall, it's just like a real racing series. And the small things that impressed me the most. The fact that everyone has access to everyone's data logging, the telemetry, to make sure that everyone can have the full competitive advantage, I would say. Everyone can become a better driver. And I think in 10 years from now, we will see lots of top GT drivers that have been racing this series because they managed to improve themselves so much thanks to the things that you guys are doing.
You're used to driving a GT4 on this track. That has ABS, this one doesn't. Is that something you have to get used to?
No, actually not, because although I'm racing GT4, of course, yes, but I'm only doing roughly 9 races per season, sometimes even less. Depends on which races you count and I have to skip. But most of the time I'm driving street cars on during Touristenfahrten on the public session of the Nürburgring, and I'm driving quite many cars: rear-wheel drive, all-wheel drive, front-wheel drive, with ABS, without ABS, with EEC, without EEC. So I know how to go towards ABS, how to react if there is no actually if the wheels lock up, and to be fair, also to use it to my advantage sometimes. So it's not that big of an issue for me personally.
Do you think with that many different experiences that adaptability has become one of your strengths?
Absolutely, I would say so. I mean, I didn't finish completely last, which was good. So the handling of the car is actually quite easy. I now need to adapt to be a bit less gentle with the car because I come from endurance racing, I come from the Nordschleife, where the inputs need to be really gentle, because otherwise, if you lose the car, you end up probably in the barrier and you lose the race. In this case, if you lose the car, you might end up a tiny bit on the gravel, worst case scenario, and then you go. So you actually need to explore the limits here, whereas I'm a bit like I don't want to, something is holding me back. But in terms of car control, yes, it's amazing.
And then finally, now knowing where you stack up against the others, what are your expectations for tomorrow's qualifying and race and Sunday's race?
It's going to be quite interesting because tomorrow we have a prediction of having wet race, and I absolutely love racing in the rain. It will be, of course, completely readjusting because I haven't driven the car in the wet at all, so it will be interesting how we'll stack up against the others. The engineer said I'm doing quite an okay job. I'm improving my lap times consistently, so I'm finding my weaknesses. I'm going for it, and I know that many people, they use the push to pass also now in free practice, so that definitely shows in their lap times, whereas I didn't use it at all because for me I didn't see it as the way to improve my lap time. We're not allowed to use push to pass in qualifying at all anyway. So I'm here for fun, to get new experience, to check out your racing series, to have a couple of dogfights maybe, because that's the most fun, and yeah, to learn a thing or two. So looking forward to it.
All right, Misha, thank you very much.
Yeah. Thank you.
On top of the balcony, Joel, isn't Nürburgring a legendary place? I mean, the Green Hell. We're not racing on that quite yet with Next Gen Cup.
No.
But isn't Nürburgring a beautiful place?
Yes, for sure. It's a legendary track, and it's really nice to be here. It's always an experience. So.
Well, we are on our way to the VIP lounge at the moment. Joel, when we're on our way, we might as well talk about the free practice sessions that have just gone on. Kelvin de Groot, he topped all of the sessions. Then it was Victor Nielsen, who was very close. We had Patricia improving throughout all the sessions. Linus, the Swede, the sim racer, once again came close. And I think he's definitely one to take into account for pole tomorrow. I can see someone walking our direction.
Me too.
It's Frederick.
It's a familiar face.
Yes, he's finally done with all his meetings.
Yeah.
I think we should ask him one of our next questions. But before we do that, who was your biggest surprise of the practice sessions, you would say?
It's hard to say. I'm always expecting these guys to go out and do some exciting things. So I wasn't really surprised of anyone, because you never know who is going to get the whole shot or something like that.
Indeed, that is the case. Frederick, before you walk past, I know you want to walk past. Joel is taking your position today in the paddock walk. It feels so familiar for Frederick now to have a microphone. Frederick, I just asked Joel, who was your biggest surprise of today's practice sessions? Gonna ask you the same question. Who was your biggest surprise of today's practice sessions?
I mean, I'm not sure if I'm honest. I'm really impressed by Patricia, ending up in the top. And I mean, it was 2 good sessions today. I think the ones that we expected to be in the top, they were in the top, which they should be. Stiefelhagen was a little bit further behind, so he clearly has some improvements to do. Also fun to have 3 new drivers on the grid with Ben and Misha, and also our Norwegian friend Storm. And I think Storm was the top performer of that group. So, I mean, he turned 15, I think, 1 week ago or 2 weeks ago. So just to turn 15 and to deliver like that was really, really good. We were lucky with the weather.
Yes.
We had sun, we had dry conditions. Knowing Nürburgring quite well, we know, all of us, that it can change quickly for tomorrow. And new conditions, a new day, so let's see who's on top. But I wouldn't expect any big changes, if I'm honest, in the top.
It is going to rain indeed tomorrow. At least that's what the forecast is. Someone who had to kind of regather herself after the crash she had at the Nürburgring on lap 1 of practice 1 was Siri. We talked to Siri earlier on, so let's hear what she had to say. Hi Siri, welcome to the Nürburgring, a track that you have been at with last season's Next Gen Cup, the 2023 season. Back in 2024, what do you expect?
Hopefully a better result. Last time I was here I was not really happy with my driving, but today felt way much better, so that's mostly what I'm looking forward to.
Now, did you have a look at what you did wrong last year, and are you trying to improve that today, or are you just trying to come in with a completely clean mindset?
I think I developed a lot during the year, so I haven't actually looked at previous, so I'm really just trying to come with an open mind and not get stuck in previous mistakes and driving.
You had the incident in practice 1, turn 1, lap 1 at Nürburgring. Has that affected you in any way with your driving?
I mean, yeah, I'm definitely a bit more cautious during the first laps and the first practice session, but it's just to forget and try not to remake the same mistake. Everybody makes mistakes, so it's just to keep on moving forward.
All right, Siri, thank you very much.
Yeah.
So, as I said, Siri having to kind of regroup herself, coming into this weekend with a blank mind, putting everything behind her, everything that happened at the Nürburgring, it happened. We know it was quite difficult for her to kind of regather herself at that weekend, but it's so difficult. I mean, Graham has had it as well. After the crash he had in pre-season, kind of to regroup himself. And I think we're also seeing Graham actually for the first time this weekend really performing as well. Graham 6th, Siri, she was up there, knocking on the door of the top 10, even in the top 10 at some point. So it's great to see them kind of come back to life after what has happened to them. But how difficult do you think this is as a driver mentally?
I think it's hard. I don't know how I would have handled it, but I think the boys and girls do it really good. Like you said, Siri and Graham especially been through a lot, some crashes that they didn't want to happen, but now see them perform, it really makes me happy to see them do good on the track again and not holding it. They go full.
Indeed, they did. And
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at Graham today, twice he was in the top 6. I said in my workshop walk that I expected more from Graham. Of course, at that time, I did not know the story behind his performance at the Nürburgring, but you could really see that he was struggling. So, and I think everyone at home as well is happy to see those two once again do well, putting what has happened to them behind them, especially because they're still so young. But I want to look forward to tomorrow a little bit. Rain expected tomorrow for qualifying and both races. Last time we had rain here at the Nürburgring, Joel. You were here that time as well. We had about 6 cars off in the gravel in turn 1. I want to hear some predictions. Who do you think is going to take pole, and who do you think is going to win race 1 if it rains?
It's hard to say, but I think there are some good potentials doing the pole that don't that are not too afraid, and really good drivers like the Groot. I think would make it good.
So you're saying the Groot will take pole position tomorrow?
I'm not predicting anything. I won't do that.
He's sitting on the fence. He's getting splinters in his bum. I think I'm going to go for a bold one. If it rains tomorrow during qualifying, there's one man who knows this track inside out like the back of his hand, every grain of asphalt he knows, and that's Misha. So if it rains here tomorrow, I think he will have a massive advantage with the knowledge that he already has. So I'm going to go for Misha pole tomorrow. However, when it comes to the race, I think the inexperience in the car will shine through. We saw that with Linus last time at the Nürburgring. Still, I do think he will finish on the podium. But I'm going for Linus, actually. He was quick in the rain last time, and I'm going for Linus a win in race 1. Okay. That's my predictions for tomorrow. Now, if you want to see how it ends tomorrow, it's all live streamed on YouTube, both race 1 and race 2 tomorrow. Qualifying, sadly not, but you can follow on the live timing. We'll post that on our stories on Instagram, so follow us there if you haven't yet. And then I'm going to thank you for watching this paddock walk. You all, thank you very much for doing the paddock walk with me. It's been a pleasure. Hope you've enjoyed it. Hope I've not been too annoying.
It's been an honor.
And I'm going to thank you once again for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow. Goodbye.